In today's video, 5 ways to show appreciation for your colleagues during remote learning. Hello, coaches! Welcome back to another episode of 5 Minute Friday. My name is Kim, and I am the premium mentor for the Coach Microcredential. This video is part of our series that we're creating for remote learning. We have several 5 Minute Friday videos, as well as a bunch of panel discussions from our Coach Better series, and I will put the link to all of those resources in the description box below. Today, I'm going to share 5 ways coaches can show appreciation to your colleagues during these remote learning times. I know that this is a really stressful time to be a teacher, to be a parent, to be a coach, really just to be alive. And I think it's really important that we take that time to say thank you to our colleagues because everyone is working so hard. And we want to remind them that the work that we're doing together is meaningful and powerful for both the coach and the teacher, and it's a growth opportunity that we can both choose to take. All right, here are 5 ways that coaches can show appreciation to their colleagues during remote learning. The first way is to give a personal thank you that is meaningful and heartfelt. Normally, you might stop by their classroom and say this in person, but now that we're remote learning, it can be in an email or part of a coaching conversation. And I have 5 sentence starters that really show a depth of gratitude in this conversation that I'm going to share with you now. When you're giving your personal thank you, some sentence starters you might want to use are, I would like to collaborate more with you because I want to learn firsthand how you, and then something great that they do. You might also say, I think something your students benefit from is how well you model, and then something great that they do. Another thing you could say is, I wonder if you know how much I admire your skill when you, and then something great that they do. You could also say, you remind me of how much craft goes into planning. I noticed this when you, and then something great that they do. And one more. You could say, you've helped me redefine my goals for next year. You did this when you, and then something great that they did. So those are 5 ways that you could say a personal thank you to one of your colleagues. You could do it via email or during a coaching conversation to really express the depth of gratitude and appreciation that you have for working with them over the course of the year, whether it was face-to-face or in a remote learning context. A second way to show appreciation to your colleagues would be to send a note. Take the time to actually handwrite a note that maybe in the past you might put in their mailbox, or today you might want to just write out a really beautiful card and send a photo to them so that they know you took the time to really express your thoughts and your gratitude, and you do want to share that with them in a unique and personal way. But obviously we're not going to be getting together face-to-face, so this is one way that you can share that. Another way to send a note could be to create a video like this, a video that shares your gratitude for your work together over the course of the year. That could come in their inbox in the morning and really brighten their whole day. A third way to show your appreciation for your colleagues during remote learning is to do a favor. In a face-to-face setting, we might do this by covering a duty or covering a lesson or taking a group for special support. But during remote learning, maybe that looks more like creating a resource or taking a small group section of a class and working with them during a remote learning lesson, or contacting a colleague and helping them with an issue that the other teacher might normally have to do. Whatever you can do to take something off your colleague's plate will be highly appreciated during this time. A fourth way to show appreciation to your colleagues during remote learning is to share their work and explain why it's so amazing. Of course, we can always just share great work that teachers are doing, but when you take the time to explain why this learning is so impactful and meaningful for their students, it really demonstrates a deep understanding of what they're doing. Now that we're in this remote learning context, you might want to take a screencast of what's going on in a virtual setting and maybe narrate what's happening and why you think this is such a great learning opportunity for their students. In another video where I talked about 6 ways that coaches can support their colleagues during remote learning, I referenced Jordan Benedict's digital learning walks that he's doing for his teachers at Shanghai American School. This could be a great opportunity to give teachers insight into other colleagues' classrooms that they normally might be not super likely to see, and now during remote learning are really physically distant from having any opportunity to see what's happening inside those classrooms. So this can kind of break down those classroom walls in a virtual sense and allow teachers to see what's working in various classrooms around the school. When you're sharing these kind of resources at this time, because people are so busy and so overwhelmed with so much content, it's really important to target the audience that you're sharing with. Make sure that you're sharing with the right people at the right time instead of just sharing with everyone. And of course, whenever you're sharing your colleagues' work, it's always really nice to ask them in advance and let them know what you're going to be sharing, who you're going to be sharing with, and where you're going to be putting it. Maybe during this time, you will share these videos virtually through email or whatever communication you have set up for your school. And one way that can work both during remote learning and during face-to-face learning is to create a website that can be housed internally and private just for your school community, or more public if that's what you want, where you share all of these great learning opportunities in one space so teachers can go and see what's happening in different people's classrooms and get an idea of what's working. When we get back to school, of course, you can bring this up in a faculty meeting or a team meeting, or you can just share in small groups with the right people at the right time. Sharing work and explaining why it's so great is a powerful way to demonstrate that you understand the effort that goes into creating these learning experiences for students, and you want to make sure that other teachers have access to the great learning that's happening in their classroom. My fifth and final way to show appreciation for your colleagues during remote learning is to customize a professional learning resource just for them. Maybe it's something you've heard them talk about in your coaching sessions or something that's come up in a team meeting, and likely it's probably something you wouldn't normally have the time to do. So now you're demonstrating your gratitude for all the time that they spent with you by taking some extra time to create this content just for them. Whenever you're sharing or creating content for teachers, I think it's really important to curate what you're sharing. We're getting lots of resources from lots of places thrown at us all day long. Finding just the right thing for just the right teacher is that extra special effort that a coach can go through to really demonstrate their gratitude for working together over the course of the year. All right, those 5 ways to show appreciation for your colleagues during remote learning were: number 1, to say a personal thank you. Number 2, to send a note. Number 3, to do a favor and take something off their plate. Number 4 is to share their work and say why. And number 5 is to customize a professional learning or classroom resource just for them. Hopefully those 5 ways to show appreciation to your colleagues during remote learning are helpful for you. If you have other ideas, please leave them in the comments below. We would love to hear from you and to hear what's working in your school context. If you're interested in seeing all of our coaching resources compiled in one place just for you, check out our new website at coachbetter.tv/start. We are compiling everything we've created, including all these 5-Minute Fridays and all of the digital downloads that we have shared with you, all of the freebies that you've gotten in one place so you can see all of our Coach Better resources all together. I will leave the link in the description box below and make sure that I put it on the screen right here. Plus, if you're interested in learning how to create community in virtual spaces, I have an exciting offer for you that I'm going to tell you about right now. At Eduro, we have been humbled to have had educators from around the world join us in panel conversations and respond to our emergency school closures resources. We want to continue to support you. We know how challenging it is to be an educator right now. We know that school leaders and coaches are looking for ways to keep their community inspired and to relentlessly build community. That's why we've made our online course, Your Connected Classroom, free for you and your peers right now. You can find the link in the description box below. We have been creating community virtually for over a decade now through our Coattail program and through the Coach Microcredential. It's something we know inside and out, and we want to support you through this difficult time. Follow us at Eduro Learning or subscribe to the Coach Better podcast to continue this conversation. Thanks for joining me for today's 5-Minute Friday, and we will see you again next week.